The sun hung low over Maplewood, casting golden rays across the quaint town square where Emily Harper stood, her heart pounding like a war drum. She was no stranger to conflict, not as the first female governor of the state, but this was personal. The wheelchair ramp outside her sister Clara's home, painstakingly built for Clara's mobility after a car accident, lay in ruins, reduced to splinters and concrete dust. The culprit? Karen Mitchell, the HOA president, whose bulldozer idled menacingly nearby, its engine growling like a predator gloating over its kill. Karen, with her neatly pressed blazer and a smirk that could curdle milk, stood by the wreckage, arms crossed. This ramp was an eyesore, she declared to the gathering crowd, her voice dripping with self-righteous authority. It violated Code 17B, Section 4. I warned Clara months ago, the townsfolk murmured, some nodding in reluctant agreement, others shooting wary glances at Emily, who stood motionless, her governor's composure barely holding back a storm. Emily's hands trembled as she stepped forward, her eyes locked on Karen. You had no right, she said, her voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. That ramp was my sister's lifeline. You didn't just break rules, you broke her dignity. The crowd hushed, sensing the weight of her words. Karen scoffed, oblivious to the badge pinned discreetly to Emily's coat. Rules are rules, sweetheart. If Clara wanted special treatment, she should have filed an appeal. The air thickened with tension. Emily's mind raced back to Clara's accident 2 years ago, the crash that stole her legs and nearly her spirit. Emily had fought for that ramp, navigating bureaucracy and funding it herself when the HOA dragged its feet. Now, Karen's smug face and the shattered ramp felt like a personal betrayal. But Emily wasn't just Clara's sister, she was the governor. A fact Karen had somehow missed in her crusade for neighborhood aesthetics. The confrontation escalated as Clara wheeled herself into the square, her face pale but resolute. The crowd parted, and gasps rippled through as they saw her struggle over the uneven ground where her ramp once stood. Karen, Clara called, her voice steady despite her shaking hands. You think this is about rules? This is about power. You wanted to control me, to make me feel small. Karen's smirk faltered, but she doubled down. Don't make this personal, Clara. I'm protecting property values for everyone. Then came the twist. A soft-spoken man, Mr. Jenkins, the town's quiet librarian, stepped forward, clutching a worn notebook. Karen, he said, his voice trembling but firm, I found the records. You falsified the HOA minutes. There was no vote to demolish Clara's ramp. It was your decision alone. The crowd erupted in whispers. Jenkins, usually invisible, had been auditing the HOA's books for months, suspecting Karen's overreach. His revelation hit like a thunderclap, exposing Karen's vendetta as a personal grudge against Clara, who'd once challenged her for HOA president. Karen's face drained of color. That's nonsense, she stammered, but the crowd's mood shifted. Eyes turned accusingly toward her. Emily seized the moment, stepping closer. You didn't know, did you? She said, her voice now ablaze. I'm not just Clara's sister. I'm the governor. And I promise you, Karen, this won't end with a bulldozer. The crowd gasped, some cheering, others stunned, as Karen's arrogance crumbled. She hadn't just crossed the most powerful woman in the state. But the victory was hollow. As Emily helped Clara back to her car, the sisters exchanged a look of shared pain. The ramp could be rebuilt, but the wound of Karen's cruelty cut deeper. Clara whispered, I just wanted to feel normal again. Emily's heart broke, knowing no law could fully mend her sister's spirit. The town square emptied, leaving only the hum of the bulldozer and the weight of unspoken questions. Karen faced consequences: fines, a recall vote, and public shame, but the real cost was Clara's trust in her community. Emily, despite her power, felt powerless to erase her sister's humiliation. The sisters vowed to rebuild, not just the ramp but the town's sense of compassion. Yet the bitter taste lingered. One woman's ego had torn at the fabric of their home. What do you think? Where does justice lie when personal grudges clash with community rules?